Praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS who are well. Shalom to the hopeful elect, Barakatam. I hope this video is edifying. And now I just see this. I was gonna do another video, but I'll probably do it after this one and post that tomorrow or something. But yeah, it says my brother's probably seen this. It just come up. Gunman storm Ecuador television studio live on air. I'll just go through the sorry. I just go through the article real quick. A group of armed men have broken into a live television studio in Ecuador and threatened staff. Footage shows a live broadcast by station TC in the city of Guayaquil was interrupted on Tuesday by the group who were wearing hoods and carrying guns. Excuse me. Staff were forced to, I'm assuming that's onto the floor, before the live feed cut out. A 60-day state of emergency began in Ecuador on Monday after a convicted gang leader vanished from his prison cell. The hooded men were seen leaving the TC studios, with police entering the set about 30 minutes after the gunman first appeared. National police units in Quito and Guayaquil have been deployed to the scene, the country's national police force said in an update on X, formerly known as Twitter. The staff had been evacuated from the studio. Following the incident, President Daniel Nobo signed an executive order declaring an international armed conflict and listed several organized crime groups as terrorist organizations and non-state actors. At least 7 police officers have been kidnapped by gang members since the state of emergency was declared. The measures were introduced by President Nobo after the boss of a Los Choneros gang disappeared from a maximum security jail on Saturday. Nearly 40 other inmates, including another convicted drug lord, broke out from another prison in the city of Riobamba in the early hours of Tuesday. It is not clear at this stage whether the storming or the television station is linked to the prison escape, but is an example of the deteriorating security situation in the country. And it's not the only deteriorating situation in the country, man. This is Ecclesiasticus 39:28. We love to bring out these scriptures. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In a time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. So these guys are spirits created for vengeance. And there's a lot of people in those prison houses. I just recently just came back from there, and these guys, they want their issue. These people went on TV. I mean, who knows the political situation behind why they went on TV? I mean, if they're drug lords and drug kingpins, they might have links in big business. So who knows? But you got a lot of people in jail, that really want to get their issue on the people that put them in there. There's a whole bunch of guys in prison, bro. Sorry, got a bit carnal there. There's a whole bunch of guys in prison like him that have been put there because of women and Esau's corrupt system, and they're mad as hell, man. I mean, there was a guy that was in there for like a robbery, and he felt like he shouldn't be there. So when he comes out, he's gonna get his issue because he was put in prison, and his woman, he's put in prison for robbing a guy. He actually robbed a Jake, and a Jake went to the police and said, "Yo, this guy robbed me or whatever," because it was a Jake and he was a white guy that robbed him. And the Jake had him put in prison, and he had a black judge, And what's funny, he had a black judge and he robbed the Jake. So for him, he's like, I was looking at it and I was kind of laughing because I'm like, yo, that's the curse is turning back on you, But these people, when they come out, they're gonna want to get an issue. And he was in there, and while he was in there, his woman, Edomite, basically the police had come to his house, and she showed the police. They searched up and down his property, couldn't find nothing, and she went and told the police where his gun was. So he got an extra charge. Now, when he comes out, what do you think he's gonna want to do if he ever gets let out of prison? Would you think he's not gonna get an issue in that when that day comes? But yo, um, yeah, I'll just show this little, this beautiful brother right here, GMS Awakening 144, and I was just watching this video, and this goes into nicely into what I want to talk about because essentially what we're seeing is a collapse of societies around the world. Is all building up, to that day, and people are really just kind of completely unaware of what's going on. And the brother was talking about how it's done through gradualism, but when you're watching, you're seeing these things happening, even though they're small and it's incremental and it's gradual. You're making a note of these things, but these people, they don't realize. What I mean, it's like the frog in the boiling water analogy that they use. These people are not going to realize until they're cooked. You know, but let me just play this.
Time is up. You know what I mean? It's here. The Lord's about to hold you accountable. So let me play that back, man, because this devil really, devil, yo, you got a brother hype right now. Let me play that back.
When the next crisis hits, the elites are planning to freeze the financial system, and they'll replace it with a new system, one not based on the U.S. dollar. When that happens, we'll wake up to a very strange and disturbing new reality. And for our viewers that are watching today, what might their reality look like that morning? How does this manifest? First, they'll have gone to bed knowing that a massive financial crisis was underway. But when they wake up, they'll find it has worsened, and the contagion has spread.
Because they're gonna let people know, like they are doing, mainstream media. They got to put it out there, crisis this, crisis that, banking system this, banking system that, but they don't go deep into it. So people are well aware that there's something fishy going on. Something highly suspect is taking place in society, but they're too stupid to inquire about it. You know why? Why they too stupid to inquire about it? Because the Lord don't desire them to even know what's going on. You see, the Lord got them in a trick bag. Scriptures tell us that in Isaiah. Make the hearts of these people fat. Make it heavy. Make their ears heavy so they cannot see. Least they be healed and converted and
Let me just forward
get how about Shimi Hawashah.
It's going to get really bad really quickly.
First of all, people buck up and go.
Business for only.
Thank the Lord. Thank him. Thank you. How about Shimi Hawashah?
Right. When they go to withdraw money, their ATM will say closed temporarily. When they go to sell stocks, their account will say transaction not available. When they go to their local business, that business will only accept cash if it's open. As citizens realize they're being barred from their money, riots will erupt. It's going to get really bad really quickly.
First of all,
sorry to cut the brother off. Brothers can go and check out that video. It's an interesting video. But this all goes into those spirits being created for vengeance, because Esau is basically doing all of this stuff to bring that day upon people. Do you know how people are gonna react when they can't get money out? When people are running in TV studios and putting guns to people's heads. This all goes together. They seem like isolated incidents, but they're all connected. Is all contributing to the collapse of societies around the world, not just America, Babylon. Even though we know America's, Babylon, and that's the biggest place of sin on earth. These other places, you're not going to be able to run to these places either. I saw a video from the brother from this Elamite woman where she was talking about how they've created these laws for COVID where if you're sick, they can come and just quarantine you and just take you away and just chuck you somewhere. And she ran in the woods and she thinks, she's gonna get away. And me and the brother was talking about this the other day where, you run away from the bear and you put your hand on the wall and the serpent got you. You're not gonna be able to get away from this stuff. And the brother was going into how, these laws are being created and a lot of people aren't really actually realizing what kind of laws are being created. They create one law here and there, and people aren't really aware of it because there's like last time I checked, there's like 750,000 laws, statutes in the UK. How are you gonna keep up with that sheer number of laws? And then those laws that they're putting bylaws and laws, and you're not even reading the law properly, and they're passing a whole bunch of stuff that's essentially set up to take away your freedom. It says here the UK has had hundreds, not tens, not a couple, hundreds of laws made in response to the coronavirus pandemic. Of many of these laws, could be described as lockdown laws. In this briefing, the term lockdown law refers specifically to coronavirus, restrictions relating to the restriction of movement, gatherings, and high street business operations. Now, these laws ain't gone away; they're still there. You know, it's like they created these laws during the Napoleon Wars, where they could collect taxes from the people, and they never repeal these laws. All they do is every year they go into Parliament and they renew the law to make it quote unquote legal to take your money. And the guy, if you watch the video by the brother, the guy said, "Is this legal?" And he said, "Technically, it is, even though by the Constitution it's not legal, even though it's immoral. They've made it legal." We all understand certain things are completely immoral. If you look at somebody like Jonathan Majors, he was convicted of assault. This guy running 3 blocks away from this white woman, and they convicted him of assault. Now, anybody can look at a guy and say he's not guilty or nothing, but they said, well, you technically assaulted her by trying to get away from her. Now, can you imagine how crazy that is? And I watched a little tidbit from him, and he just dropped it. He said, I'll give you one further. If it was a white woman running away from a black man for 3 blocks, and cars are stopping, he's running in the road and doing all, they would have called the police. He would have been shot. So it just shows you how uneven and how Esau creates mischief by laws. This guy is completely wicked, man. This is 2nd Esdras 15:16, but there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, and those armed rebels, those drug dealers, they invaded that studio. Upper Salakia, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So yeah, they just run up in the studio with a strap in their hand, and it was like, what you gonna do about it? So now, that their actions are justified by the fact that they can do it, and this is the same spirit that Esau's in. But that spirit is gonna come back on him. Esau's thinking he's gonna do all of this stuff and he's gonna get away scot-free. And the brother goes into it as well. And I always like to go into this, how Esau never likes to take accountability for his actions, but the Lord's gonna hold him accountable. You're not gonna get away with what you're doing. The Lord has a long memory. I was even speaking to somebody today about it, and I wanted to make a video about this, and he was talking. This guy did something to me like 20 years ago, and he told me, and I was like, somebody said something to me. They said I need to do something for them, and I was like, well, this guy did something to me. I wasn't expecting him to do something, because to me, I'm looking at the Lord's gonna get you back for what you done, And when I was talking to the guy about it, I was like, yeah, I used you doing this to me as an example to this person to say I don't need to do this for you, but it's a completely different circumstance in a way. And the guy was like, well, I don't care, it's a statute of limitations. There's no statute of limitations on what you've done to the Lord, on you breaking the law and you committing sin. You can't, the Lord visits iniquity on the 4th and 5th generation. You're not going to get away with it because it was done 20 or 5 years ago or 15 years ago or 30 years ago. The Lord's going to require that which is past, and the Lord is requiring all of this stuff right now. And I'm gonna get this final scripture before I finish the video. This is Acts 2:17, and it shall come to pass in the last days, saith Yahweh, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. And we like to look at the Lord pouring out his spirit as it being just denoting and fixated on just prophecy. The Lord's spirit is more than just prophecy. We know, is the highest form of the spirit is to prophesy, but the Lord also wants vengeance. And he's pouring out these spirits of vengeance on man as well. And you can see right there that guys are coming out, they're pulling out the straps, and society hasn't even collapsed yet, and look how far it's deteriorated. Can you imagine on that day when there's no power, where there's no police, what people are going to be doing. Because I'm telling you right now, people are going to want to get their issue. There's no more that fake smile that Esau does in his face. In that day, you're going to see what these people are really like. You're going to find out what your neighbor is really like. You know what I mean? You're going to find out whether or not your neighbor is a cannibal if push comes to shove. So everybody's going to be exposed for who they are in that day. Even men of the Lord, they're going to see whether or not you really believe in the Lord, or you're going to try and take things into your own hands. But yeah, hope Lord willing, you know, I get to do the other video because I want to expound on other things. But yeah, all praises to the Most High, Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Jemis. Well, Shalom. To hopefully elect, Lord willing, this video was edifying. Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.